What is going on, everybody? Hope you are having a fantastic day. Apologies for a little bit of a scuffed setup. I kind of just have a little mini tripod here, but I'm making do with what I can. I'm going to be coming at you with my hero deck profile. I recently went to a convention and I got first place with this deck, so I kind of wanted to share it for the new format and explain some of the card choices that I chose and why I chose them. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into it. Starting off with the monsters, I have 3 Elemental Hero Stratos. I see a lot of people cutting this card to 2, and if you play 1, then you shouldn't be playing Heroes in the first place. But I still like this as a 3 of. Hero Lives is now at 2. There are a lot of times where I find myself Hero Lives, special summoning a Stratos, and then I will normal summon another Stratos just for the extender and because it's the optimal play. And then I won't have a third Stratos if my opponent somehow survives the first turn to just summon. And it can be really good to summon kind of late game when you already have all your heroes established on board to just destroy a lot of back row. And in a back row heavy format, I think that Stratos can be very good. This is a consistency card. I love consistency, so I like running this at 3. I can understand 2. And if you're running this at 1, please stop playing heroes. Next, I have 2 Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. This is a pretty standard ratio. Nothing too crazy about 2 Shadow Mist. Pretty standard ratio. Next, I have 1 Liquid Soldier. This is mandatory for a lot of combos that you use. I see a lot of people not running Solid Soldier. And this card is definitely mandatory in Heroes. There are a lot of times that you cannot go full combo unless you have Solid Soldier in your deck. So yes, this card is very necessary. It's an extender. And when it's fused for polymerization, you can special summon a hero from your grave. So there are times where you would only be able to get your full combo by special summoning Shadow Mist off of Solid Soldier's effect. So this is definitely a necessary card. If you are going for Dark Law, if you're going for full combo, I would not cut this card. Next, I have Elemental Hero Honest Neos. This is standard. You need 1 to search. Moving on to the Vision Heroes, we have 3 Vision Hero Ferris. Pretty standard ratio. This is your combo starter. This is pretty much an OTK as long as you have another hero to discard, which is insane. This card is very good. Like Stratos, you kind of always want to see this card to get your combos started. Next, I have 2 Vision Hero Vion. This is a pretty standard ratio. Yeah, special summoning the Ferris or normal summoning the Stratos and searching Ferris is just a better combo route than normal summoning a Vion. You can't really go full combo by doing that. But you definitely need to because it is a necessary part of your combo. And if you only had it at 1 and you draw it, then that's bad. And the same logic applies to Increase. I've seen people cut this to 1, and again, if you're cutting this card to run, please stop playing heroes, because if you draw that, you turn this card into a Garnet when it doesn't need to be. I tried playing it at 1. I was like, okay, maybe I won't see it that much. Maybe it'll free up an extra deck slot, and I kept drawing it, and then I couldn't go full combo. So this card is an absolute mandatory at 2. Do not cut this to 1. Next for our 2 ofs, moving into our Destiny Heroes, we have 2 Mali. Again, pretty standard. Obviously, 2 Mali. And for our Destiny Heroes, we have 1 Denier and 1 Plasma. Necessary for Fusion Destiny, for Destroyer, Phoenix, Enforcer. Denier is absolutely necessary. And if you ever do a Mali combo without Fusion Destinying, then you kind of want to have the Plasma because it does need to be a level 6 or higher for Destroyer, Phoenix, Enforcer. Next for the Evil Hero, we have 1 Adusted Gold. Pretty standard, nothing too crazy about that. Moving on, I still do run 3 Ecall. I see a lot of people maybe even cutting this card, running 2 or something. I am a consistency whore. I love consistency, and I think it's very important to open your combo pieces. And the main point of my deck is I want to go first and I want to set up full combo. And what I mean by full combo is I want to have Sunrise, I want to have Dark Law, and I want to have Absolute 0 with a Mass Change set at a minimum. And most times I additionally have either Malicious Bane or Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, or if I go full combo, both on the field. I do like going full combo because Under Dark Law, it's very difficult for your opponent to play the game. If you have Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, it's very difficult for your opponent to play through the Quick Pop. And if you have Absolute Zero plus Mash Change, it's a full field wipe. They really can't do much. A lot of times the way my matches go is I'll kind of, if I win the die roll, then I'll kind of just go first and I'll just lock my opponent out of playing the game and they'll make me go second. And you'll see that in my side deck. Also, one-ofs, we have one Rhoda. Pretty standard, and 2 Hero Lives. This card is absolutely amazing. It's at 3 in Master Duel, it's at 2 in the TCG, so we're going to max this out. If it ever came to 3, we would definitely run 3 of that. Moving on, we have our 3 Mash Change. This is pretty standard, nothing special to explain here. We're going to have our 2 Fusion Destinies. This card is now cut to 2 because of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, so you definitely want to max out on the copies of that. I actually think this card isn't necessary without Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, so if you don't have it, you can kind of cut this card for like more hand traps. I think Dystopia is okay, but I don't think it's worth the Fusion Destiny engine, like the, well, I guess since it's at 2 now, it's like a 4-card engine, right? I don't think it's worth the, well, with Denier, it is worth it, but if you don't have like the new Denier or you don't have Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, then the Fusion Destiny engine is not worth it. So in Master Duel, I think you don't really need it. You would rather have more hand traps or Max C or whatever the case is for Master Duel. But for the TCG where we have Denier and Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, this card is absolutely mandatory. Moving on to our fusion spells, we have 1 Polymerization, 1 Miracle Fusion, and 1 Dark Calling. This is pretty standard, nothing special to be explained here. And for our last 6 cards, we kind of have some open spots. I believe Forbidden Droplet, this card is 100% necessary. I understand it's extremely expensive. I understand some budget options. I would say Dark Ruler No More is a very good budget option, and it's probably the best budget option instead of Forbidden Droplet, because the main reason that you need this card is because Drytron still exists, even with their EVA banned. I had a Drytron match in the tournament, and I only won because of this card. I opened 2 Droplet game 1, and I opened another Droplet game 2. Like, this card is absolutely necessary for Herald of Ultimateness. Like, you kind of just auto-lose to a lot of decks that just set up a strong board if you do not have Droplet in your deck. I feel like any deck that can OTK needs to have Droplet in their deck, and it's absolutely mandatory. But again, I do understand this card is incredibly expensive, so I would recommend Dark Ruler No More if you want a budget option, because the main thing is that it negates all their monster effects and they can't respond to it with monster effects. Yes, Dark Ruler No More, they take no damage, but ideally you're able to break down their board enough that you're just going to go kind of full combo anyways and just win next turn. So that is the best budget alternative. I wouldn't really consider Impermanence to be like a budget alternative, or even Forbidden Chalice to be a budget alternative, because those cards target, and Dragoon is still legal in the TCG. Yeah, and they could be responded to with monster effects. So again, Dark Ruler No More, if you don't have this card, I think that is 100% necessary in a format where your opponent basically tries to go first and just not let you play the game. And speaking of not letting you play the game, I also main deck 3 Cosmic Cyclones. Back row is a big problem in this format. Skill drain is at 3. You absolutely need some form of back row removal in your deck. And yes, this is more important than Ash Blossom right now. Ash Blossom is good, don't get me wrong, but a lot of decks can just play through an Ash Blossom. And you can't play if they flip skill drain on you and you don't have some sort of back row removal. So you definitely need this, and yes, I do find it more important than Ash Blossom in a 40-card deck. I do side deck Twin Twisters, and I side out the Cosmic Cyclones for Twin Twisters a lot. I'm going to explain that when I get to the side deck, but the main reason for that is because I do not like Twisters with Droplet. It is too much. You're going negative too much, and you don't have like the discards or the resources you need a lot of time. You don't want to be sacrificing your combo pieces. So with Droplet, which I think is absolutely necessary, then I would run Cosmic. If you are running Dark Ruler No More, then you can go ahead and replace this with Twin Twisters, so you can destroy more back row than just one. Cosmic does have its advantages, like banishing the card for like Eldlick or something, but in an OTK deck, it really doesn't matter because if you destroy their card, their effects don't activate till the end phase anyways, and you're just going to OTK them. So I do prefer Twin Twister, but with Droplet, which I think is necessary, I prefer Cosmic. Moving on to the extra deck, we are going to have 2 Extra Hero Cross Crusader and 1 Wonder Driver. 2 is mandatory now. There were, I would say, before the new, before Denier, before Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer, you can run this at 1, and you did not need 2 because kind of back then, if you were going into a second Cross Crusader, you were losing the game, right? But with that new Destiny Hero support, 2 is absolutely mandatory for a lot of your combos. So 2 is definitely mandatory. And then Wonder Driver is mandatory for your full combos to kind of reset your mass change. And sorry, I kind of got away from the camera a little bit. I just dropped the card. But yeah, Wonder Driver is absolutely necessary for your full combos. For the rest of our linked monsters, we have 1 Dread Decimator and 1 Verte Anaconda. You need this for a lot of OTKs. You definitely need this card. And Verte Anaconda is necessary with Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. Just being able to, if maybe you have an unoptimal hand, or maybe you get hit with, I don't know, something like a summon limit. Well, not a summon limit, but something that doesn't enable you to play the way you would like. You can kind of just use 2 monsters to make Anaconda, and then you can Fusion Destiny off for Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. It's very, very good. So this is mandatory now. A lot of cards I feel like are mandatory now that were before, like the Fusion Destiny packages, the second Cross Crusader is, and the Verde Anaconda is with the new Destiny hero support that we got. We have 2 Dark Law, absolutely mandatory. You need more than 1. And then we have Acid, again, a mandatory card that you're going to need for your Absolute Zero and Acid play. For the Elemental Heroes, we have Sunrise, Absolute Zero, and Scuriato. Sunrise and Absolute Zero, obviously necessary for the main combo that you have. Scuriato is very important. I used to run Adoration, Vision Hero Adoration, but every situation you would be making Adoration in, you can make a Scuriato in instead, and you can also use Miracle Fusion to make a Scuriato, which gives you a lot of OTKs. Gains 100 for each Elemental Hero in your graveyard as well. So yeah, this card is definitely necessary. Moving on to our Destiny Heroes, we have 1 Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer and 1 Dangerous. Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer is an amazing card. Absolutely 100% necessary. And Dangerous can be a 1-card Dark Law with Fusion Destiny, so that is why it is good to run. Then we have the 1 Vision Hero Trinity. This can enable a lot of OTKs you wouldn't be able to get otherwise, like if they have maybe a full board of monsters or something, and maybe you droplet them and negate their effects. You could just make Trinity, Honest Neos, swing 3 times, 7,500. And three times with 5,000 attack is still pretty respectable too. Under Mystic Mine, you can OTK with this card. So yeah, this card is very good. And then for the last monster in the extra deck, we have the 1 Evil Hero, Malicious Bane. And this card is absolutely necessary. It's very good with Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer can actually target Malbane and target another monster or another card your opponent controls. And Malbane won't be destroyed, so it's a cool little combo that they both have. So that's going to be it for the extra deck. Now I'm going to move on to the side deck here. I side a lot of going second cards. The main point of my deck is I'm going to go first. I want to go full combo. I want Dark Law, I want Sunrise, and I want Absolute Zero with a Mash Change set. I put Dark Law and Absolute Zero in defense mode to avoid Lightning Storm. I keep Sunrise in attack because of its low defense, and it can kind of protect the other monsters when they're attacked. So, the name of the game is go first. A lot of times I just win by going first and my opponent can't play the game, and they make me go second, which is why I side a lot of going second cards, starting with Triple Lightning Storm, absolutely mandatory going second card. That helps deal with mainly back row, but it can be used for monsters as well. Evenly Matched. A lot of people aren't really running this card anymore. They're like, oh, well, you don't have a battle phase. It's like everybody forgot how good this card really is. You don't need a battle phase when you're completely breaking down your opponent's board. Yeah, and just like making it so they can't play the game on the next turn anyways. This card is absolutely amazing against Eldlick. I think it's absolutely mandatory as a going second card. Yeah, it's great against Eldritch, just banishes everything. And it can help get rid of problematic spells, traps, back row, full fields, annoying stuff, and then you just kind of, once you evenly them, it's kind of like you're going first again, and then you just make your full combo so they can't play the game, and you just win from there. 3 Twin Twisters, I would main deck this, but I don't like the discard cost on top of Droplet's discard cost. So I side this a lot of times. What I'll do is I will actually, say I'm playing Eldritch, and I'm going to just go ahead and show you my last Spell and Trap removal one here, Harpy's Feather Duster. Typically what I'll do is I'll side out my 3 Ecals, my Reinforcement of the Army, and then I'll side out the 3 Droplets and the 3 Cosmics for the 3 Lightning Storm, the 3 Evenly, the 3 Twin, and the Harpies against Eldritch. Yeah, like I said, like their effects to do stuff with their cards typically happen during the end phase, and you just OTK anyway, so it's better to destroy 2 cards than 1. So I do prefer Twin Twisters against them. And then Evenly and Lightning Storm and Harpies is so good. I kind of side out like the consistency cards. I know I'm a big consistency person, but if you can't play the game, you can't play the game. So I kind of, make sure I can play the game and kind of side out the consistency for these cards, especially against Eldritch. And that's how I was able to win against Eldritch in the tournament. They were my final match. And then the last 5 cards that I have in my side deck, they're really up to personal preference, but I put in Super Poly. I feel like not a lot of people expect this card, and I just put in some dark targets. We have Starving Venom, Fusion Dragon, and Predaplant, however the fuck you say that name. This is just 3 dark monsters. So my Super Poly is pretty much on dark base decks. I could just fuse 2 or 3 dark monsters. Also, this card, when your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck while you control this fusion summon card, you can negative summon it if you do destroy it. So that's pretty good. And then, obviously, you guys probably know what Starving Venom Fusion Dragon does. So I kind of just side that. I have a friend who plays zombies, and in case I run into him, I like this card. But the last 5 are really up to you. You can put in whatever you want. You can put in a Biru if you think that's good against a lot of decks that you play. Really, whatever you want. But yeah, I just like these, and typically, if I'm siding, it's just to destroy back row, and I'm siding those 10 cards that I talked about before. And by the way, I kind of forgot to mention towards the beginning of the video, but I've been playing Heroes for a long time, ever since the structure deck for, Mass Change and Dark Law came out. I've been playing Heroes competitively, so Heroes and Cyber Dragons are my 2 main decks. And I've made kind of videos on these for Master Duel. I got top 16 in Swagage's tournament in Master Duel during like the first week or 2 of the game. And then I did a hero. I've hit Platinum 1 with Cyber Dragons and Heroes, and I did a hero deck profile for Master Duel as well. But I figured, I just went to a convention. I just got first place. And I figured, the TCG is kind of in an interesting spot right now. We just got a new ban list, and for us hero players, it did affect us. Our Fusion Destiny was cut. We have Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer now. We have Denier now. And we have another Hero Lives, which is fantastic. So I figured I would go ahead and make this video and kind of share what I believe to be the best build for Heroes right now, in my opinion. Obviously, use this as a guide. Other cards you could run. You could run staples like Ash Blossom. You could run Impermanence if you want. But I just think that the 40 cards that I chose are the best for me. I think the side decking the back row hate is absolutely correct in this format. And I really don't like sacrificing consistency either. And I really like to go first with this deck and just make it so my opponent can't play the game. Like, a lot of times Dark Law is just so good, it's very difficult for a lot of the meta decks like Tri-Brigade or, anything else that you could think of. It's very difficult for them to play the game. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my hero deck profile for the new ban list. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll have more Yu-Gi-Oh! Contents coming out. It really helps a lot. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.